Good morning, everyone. This is Bob Iacchino and Mike Arnold. Welcome to June. This is an AM Path Chat for June 1st covering the FX markets. Decision on the Paris Climate Agreement is coming today. I don't think that'll move the markets, but wow, the news is talking about it. It's supposed to announce sometime around 2 o'clock Central Time with a press conference in the Rose Garden. Jumping over to the UK election, Theresa May skipped yesterday's televised debate. Polls are tightening, although most people still believe, including us here at Path Trading Partners, that Theresa May is going to win. But she may not have control in Parliament, which, as I've mentioned in the other Path Chats, will sort of tone down the tough rhetoric coming out of the UK in terms of Brexit. Bundesbank President Jens Wiedmann, speaking just hours before the ECB imposes their own quiet period. That's a self-imposed quiet period prior to next week's meeting. Said that the ECB is starting to talk about a change in guidance to reflect how much better the EU seems to be doing in their economic data, although we had a couple of misses yesterday that we mentioned on the afternoon. It was either the morning or the afternoon Path Chats, I'm not really sure. Markets were up ever so slightly, the futures markets and the overnight foreign markets, but we had the Challenger Gray and Christmas layoff report come out, and the number jumped. Layoffs report showed that the total of 51,692 layoffs in May was 41% higher than the 36,602 we got in April and 71% higher than May and last year. The majority of those being attributed to retail and Ford. Ford announced 20,000 layoffs globally to streamline and cost cut as they move more toward trucks and SUVs and away from sedans. And then again, the retail industry had a bunch of individual announcements, but the total looks to have been somewhere around 21 or 22,000. I'm just kind of adding it up in my mind. Largest being Macy's with 10,000 jobs cuts attributed to restructuring, but the Limited cut 4,000 in bankruptcy, American Apparel 3,500 in bankruptcy, Wet Seal Inc. 3,000 in bankruptcy, H.H. Gregg 5,000 in bankruptcy, J.C. Penney 5,500 layoffs in bankruptcy. So not a good number to start off the month with, although we obviously have the non-farm payrolls number coming out tomorrow. We've got Canadian manufacturing PMI coming out in a little bit. Actually, it'll probably be out before this video is posted on YouTube, but we won't have it in this particular video. It is expected to come out at 56.1 versus 55.9 previous. And then in an hour or so, US ISM manufacturing expected to come out at 54.6 versus 54.8. Talked about some misses overnight. Let me just touch on a couple of those really quick. France and Italy both missed on their PMIs for May, 55.1 versus 56.1 for Italy and 53.8 versus a 54 expectation for France. Although Eurozone manufacturing PMI did come out as expected, and we talked about their GDP yesterday. That's about it. Again, that non-farm payrolls coming out tomorrow will dominate all of the economic news, and we'll probably have a slow middle of the day today, considering that number's coming out. But in the meantime, let me turn it over to Mike to let you know what he's seeing on the charts. Mike, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Bob. So Euro US dollar pushed a little higher earlier today, found some resistance just below the most recent swing highs coming in at 112.68. So today's high so far, 112.56. Headed lower currently. If it continues lower, it's just above some support coming in at 112.14. And then we're looking at 111.92. Then the next major area we'll be looking at is 111.80, then 111.60 to 52, this cluster. Then we have a trend line. If it does push higher, watch for a retest of the most recent highs, 112.68. And if we do get through that, our next major level is 113.13. Keep in mind, this is a very early potential double top with the rotation zone. If this were to trigger, which we'd have to get a close below the 111.73 level, the rotation zone would be out of the way, so this would be a high probability double, but we're nowhere near closing below that yet, so just keep notes on that. Switching over to the pound US dollar. Pound US dollar yesterday couldn't get sustained move below the defining point on the trend line. So far, we have an inside day today. If we don't exceed to yesterday's lows, we'll probably get a redraw on this trend line, which will give us a new defining point, but it's trading into the same clear path. So that would be a longer term short trade if we do get a close below the, right now it would be around 127.75. If we get a redraw on the trend line, it will be 127.69. So heading lower, it already found some support at our currently drawn trend line, right around 128.28. If we get back below that 128.13, then we're looking at 127.92 to 127.83 area on a rally back up. Minor resistance coming in at 128.84. Then we look for a retest of the highs yesterday, 129.21 to 129.30. Then above that, our overhead trend line and another gain level coming in at 129.62. US dollar, Japanese yen. Also so far an inside day, finding some resistance at our major GAN cluster and the flat 8, which we've talked about multiple times. 111.22 to 111.26 is very key. If it does rally through that, we don't have another major target to a 111.58 to 60 area. Then above that 111.65 where we have a significant level, a declining 50 and a trend line. So that will be a very, very key level to watch for. If it does turn around and head back lower, minor support coming in around 110.92. Then we're looking at 110.75. And then we'd be going down to the 110.47 level. If that's broken, you can watch for a retest of the trend line and the most recent swing low coming in about 110.23. US dollar, Swiss franc did get a close below our defining point on our trend line, but it was not in a clear path, which it hit the end of the next key level, the 96.79 area, which is in red. We found some support there yesterday and today. So if we turn back down, watch for a retest of the 96.67 level, then we'd be watching for the 96.40 level. You might find some support at this blue significant level coming in at 96.56. If it continues rallying, watch for resistance around the 97 to 97.10 area. And if that is broken, we could see a retest of our other significant level at 97.29, where we also have the declining 8 coming in slightly higher at 97.34. If we do get through that, then we'll be watching for 97.42 area. Aussie US dollar. So like we've got a move below the trend line. This would trigger a trade if it does close below this defining point right here, which is 74.16. It would trigger a trade down to the end of this advanced clear path, which comes in at 73.47. So we'll be watching for that. If it does head lower from where it is now, you have some support at 73.81, and then nothing until we get down to the trend line area about 73.59. On a move back up, you're going to have resistance right around 74.14 to the defining point 74.16 area. That is broken. Watch for a retest of 74.26 and then back to the declining 8, 74.34. That's broken. Then you can see a retest of today's highs, 74.54. US dollar, Canadian dollar, inside day so far, very narrow range. Trading between a GAN cluster coming in about 134.81 and another GAN level coming in at 135.08. So if it continues rallying up and gets through 135.08, watch for a retest about 135.25. And if that's broken, 135.40 significant level, then we don't have anything until we get up to about the 135.80 to 87 area right up in here. If it does pull back again, support 134.81, Then we're looking to go down to 134.37, and on a bigger drop, 134.10. Finally, over to US dollar, Mexican peso. Slight rally today up, finding some resistance currently around this 1864.34. If we do get through there, watch for retest of 1869.80, and then we'd be looking for 1873.26. If that's broken, a retest of today's high, 1877.16, and then above that 1880.20. On a move back lower, minor support coming in 1859.65. Then we'd be watching for 1857.86. Then we'd be looking for a retest of the trend line, 1854.85. And if that's broken, next major support will come in at 1848.40. That's all we have for you. Turning it back over to you, Bob.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you guys for watching. We will talk to you in the next Path Chat. Don't forget to hit like if you like what we're doing, and subscribe if you like what we're going to do in the future. Cheers, everyone.